I never knew hustlers confessed in stereo.
Never knew hustlers confessed in stereo. But here's all these Freemasons, so here we go. Have you worship idols. Turn you into a hoe. Alright. Part 6 of Romeo and Juliet of the series All Roads Lead to Rome. And I'm going to go over very quickly why I spelt Rhodes, R-H-O-D-E-S, because I don't think I went over that yet. And what perfect space than the Romeo and Juliet section, because these people pretend to love you. And then it makes you go crazy, and then you end up drinking poison because Romeo's dead. You understand? Romeo's lust causes the pure to terminate themselves. Oh, that's just morbid, though, isn't it? Okay. Rhodes Scholarship. Let's take a peek here. University of Oxford. Remember Oxford? This is a river like an ox, like the horns of the wild ox, which were actually wildebeests. This is a temple. Awarded for postgraduate study at the University of Oxford. A lot of people were trained at Oxford. A lot of people spoke at Oxford. Only special people get to speak there. Oxford, England, established 1902. Not that long before the two greatest wars. You gotta give them their scholarship, right? They gotta go through their trials. The Rhodes Scholarship is an international postgraduate award for students to study at the University of Oxford in Oxford, United Kingdom. United Kingdom. Sounds like Israel. But it's a false Israel, isn't it? Because there's Judah and Israel. Israel was the United Kingdom, and Judah was one. Isn't that something? Israel turned polytheistic. Judah remained monotheistic. Who fights against the monotheistic Judah? The United Kingdom. Established in 1902, it is the oldest graduate scholarship in the world. It is considered among the world's most prestigious international scholarship programs. Remember, that which is exalted in the eyes of man is abomination in the eyes of Yehovah, Sebaot. Its founder, Cecil John Rhodes, which we will look at in a minute. Let's see his phenotype first. Oh, I'm going to have to wait. Wanted to promote utility among English-speaking nations. English is like a backwards Yiddish. Like, it's like some weird Yiddish Latin. It's literally a monster. It's a beast on many waters. It's a language of Mystery Babylon. So this guy wants to promote unity among English-speaking nations and instill a sense of civic-minded leadership and moral fortitude in future leaders, irrespective of their chosen career paths. Initially restricted to male applicants from countries that are today within the Commonwealth. In Germany and the United States, the scholarship is now open to men and women from all backgrounds around the world. Rhodes Scholarship have achieved distinctive politicians. Head to government, accused President of the United States, Bill Clinton, President of Pakistan, Washim Sajjad, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Norman Manley. Wow. Prime Minister of Malta, Dom Mintoff. Look up Knights of Malta. Prime Minister of Canada, John Turner. I wonder if he gave birth to Bill Turner. Anyway. That's a joke. And Prime Ministers of Australia, Tony Abbott, Bob Hawke, and Malcolm Turnbull. Let me read those names again for those with eyes to see and ears to hear, and eyes and ears to do a monotheistic thing. Eyes and ears, see and hear. It's not two, it's actually one. Tony Abbott, Bob Hawke, Malcolm Turnbull. Other notable Rhodes Scholars include Nobel Prize winning scientist Howard Florey. Development of penicillin. It's like, yeah, we're going to inject mold. We're going to give you mold as a drug. Nobel Prize winning economics Michael Spence. That's funny, Spence. It's economic. Australian High Court Justice James Edelman. Was he a professor? What did it say? I thought I said you were a professor. Oh, a professor at Oxford. Journalist and American television host George Stephanopoulos. Wow, George Stephanopoulos. Remember, the first TV stations were DuPont, ABC, MSNBC, and ABC, I think. ABCs. Astronomer Edwin Hubble. Remember I told you Hubble, you know, at the Kaaba in Mecca, before it was cleansed, the main idol in there was named Hubble, which is Abel. So literally Mecca is a place where they worship Abel because Cain kills Abel and then he worships him because he's a bipolar psychopath. So then you'll have these so-called Muslims. I don't mean to offend people, but if they have a problem, go clean your house because your house keeps coming to me and they're unclean people. It's not my fault. They keep being psychopaths that pretend like they love me, but then it's like they do things that are literally going to cause me harm, possibly death. So, and then if I died, they'd probably be my greatest admirers. That's why Messiah condemned the building and decorating of prophets' tombs, because he said, in decorating their tombs, you prove you're the sons of the ones who murdered them. Because Cain built Baalbek in honor of Abel, and he worshipped Abel. That's where Tammuz comes from. He wept for Abel. Do you understand? He's a psychopath. He's a bipolar psychopath. American astronomer, play a crucial role in establishing the field of extragalactic astronomy. And so he made crap up. Author Naomi Wolf, feminist author, conspiracy theorists. Oh, I bet you all our conspiracy theories are what they want you to know. Because it says, do not call conspiracy all these people call conspiracy. It says that in scripture. I think it was Jeremiah or Isaiah or Ezekiel. Yeah, Naomi Wolf, her last name's Wolf. She's a feminist and allegedly conspiracy theorist. Yeah, she's telling you all the ones they want you to think. Musician Chris Christopherson. Oh, man, that makes so much sense. I was a sailor. I was born upon the tide. With the sea I did abide. I sailed a schooner around the Horn of Mexico. I went aloft there and made some, blah, blah, blah. Then when the odds broke off, they said that I got killed. But I'm living still, 'cause I'm a Soviet, symbiote, a weird demon, legion for your many. Did you know that when you condemn the unbiblical principles of this country's foundation, literally the demon in the other person says, I am democracy, for we are many. I am demos, for we are many. The people. We are democracy, for we are many. I know who you are. Oh, they do. Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head that didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. Sunday Morning Coming Down. That was written by Chris Christopherson. It's a pretty interesting song. You should go listen to it. It's literally these people being Cain, bipolar Cain, wanting you to feel bad for them because they murdered the able within themselves. You know, they murdered their own ability. Their own ability. That's why Cain had to acquire. His name was Acquire. He had to acquire things, not earn them. And then Tubal Cain, he acquired a spear. He didn't even make his own spear. He acquired it. They said he was ahead of like making all those things. I guarantee you he's just a general overseer. He didn't do much work. Just watched everybody else do it. Nigel Clark, Jamaican Member of Parliament. Transportation, Pete Buttigieg. Look at that. Film director Terrence Malick. He made Badlands, Days of Heaven, Thin Red Line. Screenplay Academy Award nominations and won the Golden Bear at the 49th, 49 13, Berlin, whatever. Let me see if I can read that. Berlin something. Director of Berlin. It's literally the bear tree. It's witchcraft. Witchcraft bloodlines usually have trees in their last name. Like Birchwind or Berkshire or Lynn or Lindor truffles. Elms, oaks, Okanagan, Oak of Auten. Oh, you think I can't see you, boy. Director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Jen Easterly. Ooh, look at her. Oh, she's a character. She gets into trouble. Look at her eyes. It doesn't even give you information. It just shows you what she looks like. It's like, yeah, you're a little Malachite, aren't you? Little lapdog. President CEO of Navigation Capital Partners, David Kate Panton. Jamaican forward upper house. A lot of Jamaicans here. You know, they really, the British really messed with Jamaicans. I'll tell you, there was a story where there was some uprising because they were being treated like worse than slavery. They were being beaten to death and stuff like that. So one guy who led an uprising to get rid of these people, they tied him to a post laid horizontally, and they set a fire at his feet to let it burn slowly up his legs. And they said he lived up until it reached his thighs, and he made no outcry. He showed no pain, and his spirit was released. Go look up the history of Jamaica. Numerous international scholarship programs were very much underway by 1900s. I got that information, by the way, from a book called I'll have to find it and show it to you in the next part because it's like I think it's called Empire, and it's about Britain from like 1750 or 1760 to like 1999 or something. So you might be able to find it based on that. I'll try to find it though and show it in the next part. Since the 1800s, governments, universities, and individuals in the settler colonies have been established traveling scholarship to home universities. I suspect maybe Hitler could have been educated very highly by somebody. Just saying, by somebody. I don't know who. By 1900, the traveling scholarship had become an important part of settler universities' crucial mechanism. And there's the Rhodes Trust. Oh, that's the big temple there. Scholarships are founded for two reasons: to promote unity within the British Empire. Remember, that's not Anglo, it's not Saxon, it's not it's not even Norman. It's British. That's Beret-ish. It's a covenant of man in Hebrew. Isn't that interesting? Remember, Joktonites speak Yiddish. And to strengthen diplomatic ties between Britain and the United States of America. Isn't that cute? In Rhodes' own words, I desire to encourage and foster an appreciation of the advantages which I implicitly believe will result from the union of English-speaking peoples throughout the world, and to encourage in the students from North America who would benefit from the American scholarship. You know how much good this would do to society if he did this for Hebrew language and taught all these people Hebrew language. Oh, they can't do that because then they discover a lot of truth in Scripture that is partially veiled because of unworthy scribes. Rhodes also bequeathed scholarships to German students in the hope that a good understanding between England, Germany, and the United States of America would secure the peace of the world. I just talked about how Hitler idolized Great Britain and the United States. Rhodes, who attended Oriel College, Oxford. There's just a picture there. Maybe I'll look that up. Say controversies persist over Rhodes' Anglo-supremacist beliefs, most of which date back to his 1877 Confession of Faith. However, such convictions does not play a part in the final version of this. Oh, that's cute. Citation needed. Yeah, because it's a lie. Literally, somebody from Tel Aviv wrote this. Somebody from Tel Aviv wrote this. Oh, citation needed? Yeah, there's no citation because it's a lie. Guess who is the government of Israel? They're Soviets. They're Anglo-supremacists. They think they're angels. They're Sheshach, the great white chief, the great white cop. The golden horde, blonde, blue-eyed, white skin. Doesn't mean that those people are bad. It just means that these guys, these Anglo-supremacists, will give those people more to enrich their offspring. So let's say if you're blonde, blue-eyed, white skin, and you are doing what I'm doing, then they just will try to stop you from progressing until you just go off and die, basically. They might even tell you to go off and die. So they still want to benefit you, though, in a way, because they're hoping your offspring might make a different decision. So you'll see a lot of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white people getting ahead up in things, not necessarily because of their decisions, although if they worship this Anglo-supremacist Rhodes belief, they'll be raised even higher. But the closer you are to what they believe, not me, what they believe is the master race, which is what Hitler promoted to Germanic people. Anyway, scholarships are based on Rhodes' final will and testament, states no student shall be qualified or disqualified for election on account of his race or religious opinions. Yeah, because Soviets go into every nation, so of course he has to do that. then those become the servants to the higher up, and they treat them lower. You see this in politics. You could try to ignore it. The Rhodes scholarships. Let's see. The Rhodes scholarships are administered and awarded by the Rhodes Trust, which is located at Rhodes House in Oxford. Is that the temple again? Yeah. Rhodes Estate, Trust Act. Look up all these stuff by yourself, please. Sex Discrimination Act, after Rhodes' death. The Harkness Fellowships. Oh, what was that character whose name was Harkness? Oh, I forgot what that was. The Kennedy Scholarship Program. Oh, look at that. Susan Hockfield. Shushan. That is a Sixer. That is Shashak. They made a memorial to one of their look at that. Anyway, I don't want to get out of here. See, Rhodes Scholarship to allow 10 British postgraduate students per year. Oh, 10 horns on the dragon and 10 horns on the beast. It's the Strategoi. That's weird. Strategoi? And there were 10 leaders in Greece, but it was actually the Roman Soviets. It was the Macedonian, then the Roman Soviets who tried to control them because their language came from Hebrew. So, and they see it as a cancer spreading. Do you understand? When they look like a cancer spreading, and then they call us a cancer, and that's something. In 1953, the Parliament of the United Kingdom created the Marshall Scholarship as a Marshall Scholarship. Oh, look at that! It's the Union Jackton with Pharaoh's United Colors. They're both the same colors, but you know what I mean. Stars and stripes forever. Stripes are wounds, and those stars are bound onto a flag, which means they're cast down to the earth. But what do I know? I'm just crazy, right? Funny. Intellectually distinguished young Americans and their country's future leaders. Cecil Rhodes wished current scholars and Rhodes alumni, in the words of his will, to have opportunities of meeting and discussing their experience and prospects. First Warden, Sir Francis Wiley. Wiley Coyote, that's funny. Okay, now my mouse is acting weird. American Oxonian, wow. Ox is literally taw. It's an X. It's taw. It's just a mark. It's a small mark. Branding. Honorary degrees. John Radimus. Majority Whip of the United States. You know they had a whipping boy? For the king's son. There's a movie called Whipping Boy. Look it up. Bob Hawke. That's that guy I already saw, right? Australian Labour Party. Oh, gee. What about the German Labour Party in 19... Anyway. Western Australian University. Rex Nettleford. Oh, wow. Jamaican scholar. Oh, look at all these Jamaicans. These people have an interesting skull shape. So there's a lot of Semitic skulls in Jamaica. And there's a lot of eagles and vultures that gather around the body, don't they? David R. Woods, 21st century. Anniversary celebrations, John McCall McBain, Swiss-based Canadian billionaire and businessman. Can't make this up. I'm about to show you with the Watson stuff how it's Swiss-based too. Swiss Army knife. Oh, they're always neutral because nobody's warring against them because they're the Soviet head. They literally have like 10 presidents or something. Marcy McCall, McBain. McBain. Bane means poison, by the way. Bane means poison. Can't make that up. There's literally like this royal family and this Italian family where their royal seal, I forgot what their name is. You can probably find it though if you look deep enough. Their coat of arms, Italian family, allegedly Italian family, probably Soviets. Their coat of arms has a dragon serpent devouring a child, and they try to say it's a man, which isn't much less disturbing. But if you look at the anthropomorphic features, it is obviously a child. So I forgot what I think they were related to Medici or something. I forgot exactly what they were called, but you could probably find it if you look deep enough. Rhodes scholar R.W. Johnson says South Africa. I don't know why it's blocking it for me though. Ugh, it's so annoying when it does that. Under its warden, John Rowett, British historian. Donald Markwell, Australian social scientist. Interesting. Charles R. Conn. His last name is Conn. It's Khan, but this one's Conn. Conn. Canadian-American CEO, conservationist, and author. Monograph. You can look up these guys later too, if you like. Postgraduates, human rights and social justice, huh? Social mobility, racial wealth disparity. Yeah, see, they only give a head up to these alleged races they say are different, but they're all Soviets. They give it to the Soviet bloodlines of all these different races, while under the guise of giving it to everyone. You gotta understand. It's one ethnos under GAD. That's what they pledged allegiance to. That's why Hitler was Man of the Year, Time Magazine. And so was Trump. In 2019, University of Tennessee graduate Hera, literally Hera, J. Brown became the first, you can read that, to be selected for Rhodes Scholarship. This person decided, I don't even know if I want to hover over it. Should I? Oh, it's not showing it. Oh. This person might not even exist. What is this? Okay. Page does not exist. Okay. Yeah, you could read that yourself. He wants the itinerary scholastic attainments, his fondness and success in manly outdoor sports, such as cricket, football, and the like. That's literally just a eugenics thing. It's not because they want to please God by making their bodies the best they can, making it a temple, worshiping the Most High. They do it for their own work. They do their own work on the Sabbath, their own plans. He wants his qualities of manhood, what he calls manhood, truth, courage, sympathy for the protection of the weak, kindness, unselfishness. Yeah, whatever. How is this aligned with Anglo-supremacism, by the way? Anyway, they want him to have his expedition during school days of moral force, of character, and of instincts that led to take an interest. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. All right, this is boring now. Wait. American Rhodes Scholarship is more selective than the Churchill Scholarship. There's a Churchill Scholarship. Look at that guy. He was once quoted as saying, "It's an actual quote by Churchill because he was a drunk. That's literally a quote by Churchill. You can't really look it up because it's hard to spell. It's hard to spell. I'm serious. If you look it up and you hear it and you actually find it, you'll laugh at how accurate I just did it right now. That is a quote. Oh, the Truman Scholarship too. Oh man, you can't make this up. This is gold. Look up Rhodes Scholarship for yourself. It did. Oh, they're trying to hide it. Oh, Fulbright program. Oh, good Lord, look at this. Yum, yum. Just eat it up. Eat up all the evidence. Look at it. U.S.-Ireland Alliance. Oh, man. Gates Cambridge Scholarship. Wow. Look at that. Separation of church and state? I don't think so. I don't want church and state to be separate, by the way. I'm just saying they're hypocrites. Look at this picture. This picture shows you just how much they do not care and do not love you whatsoever. They will vanquish you if you stop them from building these things. or their will is to do that. I'm not saying that they have any real power. In Canada between 19 blah blah blah, who cares? An early change was the elimination of the scholarships for Germany during the First and Second World Wars. Yeah. That's where you private tutor them, don't you? No German scholars were chosen from 1914 to 1929, allegedly, nor from 1940 to... Oh, wait a minute. No German scholars were chosen from 1914 to 1929, but between 1929 and 1939, they did. Gee, I wonder why, because someone was promoting Anglo supremacism, wasn't they? Change occurred in 1929 when an act of parliament, blah, blah, blah. Oh, scholarships were expanded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the ladybugs played, and the ladybugs picnic. And they fell, was it? They played the sack races, and they fell on the backs, and they fell on the faces, and the ladybugs 12. The ladybugs picnic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The ladybugs bell at the ladybugs picnic. 12. Thank you, Sesame Street. Rhodes scholars. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Rhodes House. Geographic constituency. Look at these numbers. Look at the numbers. Yourself here. Oh, United States, 32. 32nd degree. To become a Shriner. You know, there is in the Shriners, they have a Royal Order of Jesters. Owen Benjamin might be a part of that because he promotes Islam and he mocks. But anyway, could be wrong. 4 South African boys' schools were mentioned in Rhodes' will. Look at these places, man. Wow. Look at all this. You could read some of this. I'm trying to only highlight what's important. What I feel is later, with the announcement of one of the 2 scholarships per year for the United Arab Emirates. Oh yeah, one of these Muslims was part of the royal family in Saudi Arabia. He was an Al Rashid. Look up the family Al Rashid. Why was a Fed working for CARE in Meta getting me in contact with the son of the man who created ISIS and a Saudi royal? Anyway, it's not my fault, is it? If anybody, I don't disrespect Muslims. A lot of them are very nice people. But if they want to not like what I'm saying, they have to clean their own house first, because my opinions came from your own people. And I gave them every benefit of the doubt. Elohim is my witness. I gave every benefit of the doubt. I gave every grace. I gave every sympathy. And all I got was the darkness equivalent to that black cube in Mecca, worshipping the body that they murdered. Exclusion of women. Blah, blah, blah. This is a bunch of... Okay, let's just go to the next one here. Cecil Rhodes himself. Oh, interesting. Very interesting looking. Monarch Victoria. Thank you, Elohim. What have I been saying? Bolshevik. Bolshevik. It's literally the worthlessness of Victoria. The Bosphorus is literally the Boshet Pera. Feros. It's the Boshet Feros. It's the worthlessness of Pharaoh, because Pharaoh probably opened that up with his masons, with his Mitriums, and took over sea trade that way. So they called it the worthlessness of Pharaoh, because that's a narco-capitalism. And he said Zig Heil, which means hail victory. Who are they hailing? It's actually Victoria, because he mentions everything as feminine. Goddess of this, goddess of that. And then Kaiser Wilhelm, won in World War I, the Kaiser, and Tsar Nicholas the First or Second were cousins. or half cousins or something, and they're through Queen Victoria. And if you look at Victoria really quick here, she looks like a Soviet. Why does she look Asiatic? Why does she look like Trump? She actually reminds me of Trump. That's the first person I thought of. Trump and Kamala Harris. Portrait by Alexander Bassano. Look at her eyes. Look deep into the dual perception of Sauron. Look into my eyes one last time before I destroy your race. A green jewel you must find. You know what that's from. Very horrible movie, don't watch it. But Governor Sir Henry Locke, William Gordon Cameron, remember Gordon? Just the Gordon's fishermen's. Hercules Robinson, wow. Governor of Hong Kong. Governor of Ceylon. This is just crazy. You can look up all this stuff because it's too much. But this is insane. Hertfordshire. Bishop's Stortford. It's a quaint little place, huh? Ooh, never mind. That's not too quaint. He died aged 48. Gray hair is a crown of the wise, isn't it? Meaning that they were just wise enough to live that long. Doesn't mean that they're good or evil. It just means they were smart enough to live that long. This guy only lived to 48, and he's going to be scholarshiping the entire world. I don't think so. Munzenberg, Cape Colony. Look at that. Look at that. The ibex and something or other. You can look that up. No, national... What? Resting place? The national park in Zimbabwe? What? Well, he has a lot of history with Africa. You have to look that up, but... Relatives, Frank Rhodes. Isn't there a... Oh, never mind. And frankly, I don't care. Let's see. Oriel College, businessman, politician. Are there any businessman politicians right now that anybody can think of? Please put it in the comment section. You don't have to. I'm being sarcastic. It's obvious. It's the man who looks like this. Anyway, English mining magnate, politician in Southern Africa. Literally, that Kim Clement false prophet came out of South Africa. He was trained for piano at Cambridge. And he's one of these Chabad Lubavitch people who do end times doom prophecies to favor Soviet Israel and to destroy the Semites in Israel and Gaza. Once they destroy the Semites in Gaza, the Soviets are going to leave. The Soviet government's going to leave and blame it on the people and let them do turbulence with one stone. And when I say this, 2 handlers in Israel, they scream and say, I hate you, and they turn off the camera so that I can't warn the women they breed. I know they breed women. He and his British, it happens everywhere. They just had some cult, like the last year or so they were talking about where they were branding women. This isn't a crazy thing to say. Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, and Zambia. So Zimbabwe and Zambia used to be called Rhodesia after him. Pretty sure. Democrated and named by the British South Africa Company. BSAC. There's another company, British owned. It's called America. It's called the East India Trading Company. You have the same flag. There's some more stars on it. He also devoted much effort to realizing his vision of a Cape to Cairo railroad. Wow, that is disgustingly blasphemous. This man just thinks he's a god, but he died at 48 or something. How pathetic is that? You ain't no god. Lo Elohim. Lo Elohim. Cape to Cairo Railway. Chiropractors. Cyril. Which is funded by his estate, the son of a vicar. Oh, wow. Vicars. Rhodes was born at blah, blah, blah. A sickly child. He was sent to South Africa by his family when he was 17 years old. He probably had the 3%er symptoms because they're trying to breed into it. And iron doesn't mix with clay. 17 years old, a hope that the climate might improve his health. He entered the diamond trade at Kimberley. Kim Clement, his name was Kimber or Kimberly, because he didn't like his name, so it was probably Kimberly. Because Kimberly is a male's name in South Africa. Diamond trade in 1871. Funding from Rothschild Company. That's the people who bailed Trump out. I think all 3 times, right? Or was it once or twice? But one of the 3 times, if not all of them, he got bailed out by the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Yeah, I think like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers bailed him out various times. So Rhodes entered the Cape Parliament at the age of 27, became prime minister. Oh, remember we were just reading about how people shouldn't even do that until they're 30. But that comes from scripture. They're just stealing it from scripture. Rhodes used his political power to expropriate land from black Africans through the Glenn Gray Act. Well, look at that. While also tripling the wealth requirement for voting under the Franchise and Ballot Act. Literally, these people put in laws where if you don't have enough money, you can't vote. It's just disgusting. It's showing you how worthless voting is. It comes from vox ta. It means the mark of a prayer. You're praying for a man. The voting booth is modeled after the Holy of Holies in the temple. It's square usually, and it has a curtain. Well, just like the Holy of Holies, and they make you a high priest. The high priest would sprinkle blood. So when you're marking these votes, it's very interesting. You're voting. You're praying to men. And if you don't like that, I don't care. That's what the truth is. Truth should set you free unless you want to be bound and be some victim all your life. After overseeing the formation of Rhodesia during the early 1890s, he was forced to resign in 1896 after the disastrous Jameson raid, an unauthorized attack on Paul Kruger's South Africa Republic. Oh, look up all that stuff. It's very interesting. There's like Nazis and stuff that came out later. The apartheid stuff, there's literally like this Nazi group and stuff. You gotta look up all this stuff. It's too much to say. I'm at 44-minute mark. Isn't that something? Bill Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that cigar. Anyway, is that what he said? I can't remember. Moments against racism. Isn't it funny how this guy just takes land and treats Africans as animals, and then he wants to act like he's some oh man. Rhodes was born in 1853, the 5th son of the Reverend Francis William Rhodes. You guys can look these guys up. And his wife, Louisa Peacock. It's Argus of the 1,000 Eyes. Church of England clergyman. Perpetual curate. Look at that depiction of him. Is that him? Or is that somebody else? I don't know. Brentwood, Essex. Where do we go from here? Which is the way that's clear? Still looking for that blue jean, berry queen, prettiest girl I ever seen. Billie Jean. Oh no, Jimmy Dean. James Dean. I always think that the name Middlesex was always weird. I just don't like that. Anyway, it's probably six. So isn't it interesting that the word six and sex are the same in our culture? They literally want you to breed children of harlotry. Zana, Shusha, Shushana. It's literally of the sixer of harlotry. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. Something about Alabama with blah, 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 blah. Alabama. It's a very interesting name. Cecil Rhodes. Snake Green. Siblings included Frank Rhodes, a British Army officer. And that. Childhood. Oh, look at it. England and Jersey. That's cute. He's a Jersey boy. It's probably a different Jersey, though. It's probably not American Jersey. That's New Jersey. Which New Jersey is 33 in numerology for some reason. Rhodes attended the Bishop's Stortford Grammar School from the age of 9, but as a sickly asthmatic adolescent, I know some asthmatics, he was taken out of grammar school in 1869, and according to Basil Williams, continued his studies under his father's eye. I wonder if that's word speak. Anyway, at the age of 7, he's recorded in 1861 census as boarding with his aunt, Sophia Peacock, boarding house in Jersey. He didn't marry his cousin, did he? Didn't it just say his wife's last name was Peacock? Let me see. Where was that? And his wife, Louisa Peacock. Okay, this is going to get very interesting. Because they want you to do that. They have children you don't know about, and then they try to get you to like marry your cousin or something. I'm serious. These people are breeding cults, and then they'll breed people and try to pair you with like your own cousin or half sister. People act like I don't know things. But anyway, Rhodes, sometimes people just choke when I tell them things. Rhodes attended the Bishop's Stortford Grammar School. Oh, wait. Is recorded, blah, blah, blah. Where's his aunt? That was weird. Recorded. Oh, yeah, his aunt, Sophia Peacock, the boarding house in Jersey, where his client was perceived to provide respect those conditions such as asthma. His health was weak, and there were fears that he might be consumptive or have tuberculosis. Usually, blah, blah, blah. A disease which several families showed symptoms. His father decided to send him abroad. South Africa. Oh, look at that. That looks like a number of people. Soak in that phenotype for a second and try to think of who it reminds you of. At age 16, you like that 6. When he arrived in Africa, Rhodes lived on money lent by his aunt Sophia. After a brief stay with Surveyor General Rhodes took an interest in agriculture in the Umkomazi Valley. Oh, that's a beautiful valley. Wow. Hallelujah. The land was unsuitable for cotton, and the venture failed. Looks like pretty good land, whatever. Maybe that's how it is now. Back then, maybe back then it didn't look like that. In October 1871, by the way, that's how you make the most money. You buy barren land, like you put cows and stuff on it to make it grow everything. That's the most money you make, is buying land and cultivating it for other people to bring their cattle into, or to build a farm on it. because they a lot of times don't want to do that. They just want to buy land and put their cattle on it and get their business going. So if you're the middleman that actually prepares land for people, which is very biblical, you can make so much money. It's ridiculous. Some people don't want to do that though because they're doomed to destruction. So they won't listen no matter how articulate and no matter how much proof you give them. They are headlong to destruction. Just headlong. They're gonna burst in the middle, and they're gonna display their guts for everybody. This is metaphorical. That actually happened to Judas, but they're saying that these people, they fall headlong and they end up metaphorically spilling their guts to everybody. In October 1871, 18-year-old Rhodes and his 26-year-old brother Herbert left the colony for the diamond fields of Kimberley, financed by N.M. Rothschild and Sons. Next 17 years, monopoly of the world's diamond supply was sealed in 1980 through a strategic partnership, the London-based Diamond Syndicate. They agreed to control world supply to maintain high prices. So a page is needed. Rhodes supervised the working of his brother's claims, speculated on his behalf. Associates John X. Merriman, his little Xavier. Oh. Charles Rudd. De Beers Mining Company. And the Niger Oil Company. Gotta make sure to pronounce that correctly. Or else Soviets who claim to be African get mad if I don't pronounce that correctly. During the 1880s, Cape vineyards had been devastated by a something epidemic. Oh yeah, that's a plague. Percy Molteno. That's why they overproduce so much food. It's just in case something happens, they overproduce food and they destroy so much food. They don't give it to the poor, they destroy it. Because then that would go against their anarcho-capitalism. It would fail their anarcho-capitalism if they gave free food. But they always have overproduced food constantly, and they could feed all the poor through that. But they don't, because anarcho-capitalism is Satanism. Satanism incarnate. He was generally influenced by John Ruskin's inaugural lecture. Ooh, boy, look at that phenotype. Isn't that what, doesn't he kind of look like Joseph Smith? Looks very interesting. Maybe I should look at that guy real quick. Let's see who this guy actually was. Oh, there's the hidden hand. Oh, I see you. Christchurch, King's College. Effie Gray. I knew an Afton Gray. He was a Satanist. Admitted. I think so. I don't know. He probably just a atheist. Yeah, Victoria. Let's see. I just he's probably interesting. I just wanted to put that up there. Oh, look, there's like a female Trump. Okay. Among Oxford Associates, James Rockford McGuire. Oh, it's another Scottish name. Oh, this is still this guy. While attending Oriel College, Rhodes became a Freemason. Thank you. Thank you, Wikipedia, the website that all the world mocks for some reason. It was mocked in the whole school system when I was in high school. It's mocked by people whenever you quote anything that you got from it. Oh, look, it tells you straight up Rhodes became a Freemason. In the Apollo Lodge. Apollo had a spear that either caused disease or healed disease. Spear and jet. sinks into the body, doesn't it? Now we have Artemis, the twin sister, the moon, the huntress that hunts you down, turns you into animals. She literally hunts people down and turns them into animals. Gives them the mark of the beast. But I'm just crazy, aren't I? Continue to be a Freemason until his death. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I've seen that in many places. Very interesting. You see how he almost has a Semitic skull, but there's a weird, like, an odd shape. See how his chin tries to protrude out that much? That's like a pharaonic thing. That's why they would always wear that piece right here, that black like piece, the pharaohs, because that's what their chin is supposed to look like. That's why what's his face? I don't remember his name. Jay Leno. That's why he has such a big chin. They make fun of it. It's like politics. You know what politics means? It means poly, means many, and ticks. Let me drive around in all my expensive, like, crazy vintage car collection and everything. It's like, gee, why does he get all this? Okay, Kimberly Mine. This is literally probably where Kim Clement came from. He was part of the South African army, he says, but he's never clear on what that was, because it was probably that weird Nazi one. I just forgot what it was called. Korana. After purchasing the land in 1839 from David Danzar, literally Danzar, David Danzar, a Korana chief in the area. Oh, I've seen that phenotype. It looks like Frederick Douglass phenotype. Anyway, David Stephanus Furet, forebearer of Claudine Fourier. Enough of this. These names you can't even pronounce. Val River. My last name on my dad's side comes from Valar, from the river Valkimmer. Anyway, valor, knight is sworn to valor. Have you ever seen the Dragonheart movie? It's weird because that dragon looks like my grandpa. Okay, I said that when I was little too. I was always like, why does the dragon remind me of my grandpa? But anyway, Rose and Rudd obtain a contact for pumping water out of 3 main mines. Oh, number 3. 3 is the magic number, huh? Look at all that money. Money. Oh, look it. When he gets older, he starts looking like Stalin or something. Isn't that something? Sketched by Mortimer Menpes. Author, printmaker, and illustrator. Let's see. Multeno Ministry. Look up the Boer War. Boer War. That's the first time in modern history that we know of. The first concentration camps before World War I and II were the Boer War. It was these half Dutch, half Africans. They're called Afrikaners. Then there was these Boers. Just look it up. It's very, very interesting. When Rhodes became a member of the Cape Parliament, you guys gotta look this up. It was the Gun War. Remember, Gun is one of these Scottish bloodlines, I think. Like, yeah, Gun. Gunn, I think, though. Blah, blah, blah. Franchise and Ballot Act. Oh, that's what we already saw. They had that in America. Voting first was, like, based on race, and then it was based on, like, race and finances. And then just finance. Look up the voting history of the U.S. It's such a lie. I'm tired of these people. They anybody who tells you they don't know that this country's evil is just lying to you. They're servants of it. Richard Dowden. Find it impossible to get back on the list because of the legal limit on the amount of land they can hold. Natives Land Act, which would limit. Wow, look at that. I wonder what that tree is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, 12 red fruits in that tree, which would limit the area of the country where black Africans were allowed to settle to less than 10%. There's still black slaves and white slaves throughout the Middle East and other places in Africa. Nobody cares. Do you know how Obama's policies caused the slavery in Libya of blacks? But who cares, right? Such as works in India, relations with the such as the Hut tax. You know, a lot of this stuff sounds like how they got to starve like 60 million Russians, the Bolsheviks. They do stuff like this. Now they're telling them to be racist, and in Africa right now, their leaders are telling them to get rid of all the white landowners. But that's just gonna end up starving them to death because they make like 90% of the produce of the entire country. Forced Cecil Rhodes to resign. Blah, blah, blah. Frank Rhodes sent his oldest brother to jail, convicted of high treason, nearly sentenced to death. Oh, but they think his blood's magic, so they don't. Second Boer War. Look up these Boer Wars. I can't go over all this. Look at this blasphemous. Look at, he thinks he stands over all of Africa. It's disgusting. They venerate this man while talking about racial justice. Why don't you expose this man? That's racial justice. There is no such thing as racial justice, by the way, because razas means to divide. So racial justice literally means to divide justice. Who is it drawn by? This guy. Okay. Indigenous chiefs. I just want to look for like main things here. Bureaucrats, British missionaries. Oh man. Sent John Smith Moffat. What does this guy look like? What does this John Smith Moffat look like? I've seen that exact head and forehead and ears. John Smith Moffat. Moffat is like a probably some Templar name. Missionary Robert Moffat. What does his brother look like then? Or son. What does his father look like? Let's see what his father looks like. Huh. Oh boy. They all have. Oh, what large forehead you have. Oh, what more to think about you with, my dear. To persuade latter sign, treaty of friendship with Britain, look favorably on Rhodes' proposal. The Rudd concession. Look at this. This is just, oh, I'm over time right now. So the next part I'm going to read, and then the final fourth part I'm going to go over more of this. So this will be in the background here. Oop. I read the wrong person. Okay, so what am I doing right now? Let me Put the chat away because nobody talks in there anyway. What are words for? When no one listens, any what are words for? When no one listens, any what are words for? When no one listens, there's no use talking at all. All right. Let's play this one. So if you wonder where the orange juice called Trump comes from, he squeezed from Victoria's orange. And there is an orange in Britain. There's Dukes of Orange. But anyways, let's turn this on here.
Squeeze. Changing orangey orange into vitamin C's. I said,